Heartwarming whisper. 8-year-old girl exposes incredible truth. Her grandma's food desires reveal the heart of a diner. In a small Midwestern town, where the air was heavy with nostalgia and the scent of Grandma Margaret's famous peach cobbler, an 8-year-old girl named Lily carried the hopes of a legacy on her tiny shoulders. Their family diner, once a bustling hub of laughter and love, now teetered on the brink of closure. The walls, once painted vibrant colors of warmth, were fading under the weight of change. Every Saturday morning, Lily would help her grandma behind the counter, the clinks of dishes mingling with the laughter of weary regulars who, through thick and thin, found comfort in the homely atmosphere. Grandma Margaret, with silver hair and a heart made of pure gold, had been a beacon of kindness and wisdom in their community. Her eyes sparkled when she recounted stories of the families who came together to share meals, celebrating life as ups and downs. But as times grew tough, so did the pressure to transform their beloved diner into something trendy, a cafe where artisanal lattes replaced the comforting embrace of fried food. While digging through the dusty back room one day, Lily stumbled upon an old recipe book hidden beneath a stack of forgotten menus. As she opened it, the yellowed pages came alive with vibrant stories. Each recipe told of faced hardships, dreams shared, and friendships forged over bowls of Grandma's chili. It was like a hug wrapped in parchment, reminding her of what truly mattered. Eager to help save their diner from fading into memory, Lily enlisted her friends, bright-eyed and full of ideas. They plastered colorful signs, tried new trendy dishes, and even took to social media. But with every sleek menu they crafted, a part of Grandma Margaret's heart seemed to spiral further away. "We're losing the essence, the soul," she whispered, her voice heavy with concern. It broke Lily's young heart to see the worry crease Grandma's brow, and she felt a knot tighten in her chest. As pressure mounted from the community, a pivotal meeting was called to discuss the diner's fate. Neighbors lined the walls, their whispers heavy with judgment. "It's time for a change, Margaret. The world is moving on," someone remarked, their words piercing through the tension. The atmosphere was electric, and just when hope began to flicker and falter, Grandma stood tall, eyes burning with passion. With every word, she pulled the audience into the treasured history of the diner, the laughter, the tears, the unity forged in each meal. A spark ignited in Lily as she felt Grandma's love pour from that pulpit. Inspired, she stepped forward, her hands trembling, but her heart resolute. "This place isn't just about food. It's about family. It's about us." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The room fell silent, a breath held tight. Lily searched the crowd's faces for a glimmer of understanding. Could they feel the love she felt? With every heartbeat, she stood beside Grandma, wondering if love alone could conquer trends, if community and history could save what they had. As emotions swirled like a storm, the question lingered. Could they unite familial love and the spirit of the diner to hold onto what mattered, or were their cherished memories destined to fade away as whispers of modernity coursed through the town? Lily felt her heart race as silence enveloped the diner, an uncomfortable tension hanging in the air. All around her, faces turned from disinterest to curiosity. The hum of conversation faded away as those present began to absorb Grandma Margaret's words, catching the spirit of nostalgia in the air. Encouraged by this subtle shift, Lily squeezed her grandma's hand for support and felt a surge of belief fill her veins. "Remember when we had that storm last summer?" Grandma began, her voice steady and strong despite the way her eyes glistened. The power went out, and we all gathered here for candlelit dinners. We told stories, shared laughter, and formed bonds that filled our hearts even when the world was dark. That's what this diner is, a safe space, a home. Nods rippled across the audience, recognition washing over tired faces etched with years of memories. It was as if the room had transformed into a tapestry of shared struggles and triumphs woven together by food and love. Just last week, Lily chimed in, emboldened by her grandma's bravery. I heard Mrs. Henderson talking about how she met Mr. Henderson right here over a slice of your pie. A few chuckles broke the heavy air as Mrs. Henderson blushed and smiled for the first time that meeting, reminding everyone of those moments of magic that lingered within the diner's walls. In that instant, the ice cracked wider. The community members began to share their own stories, how they recovered from heartbreak over Grandma's famous comfort food, or how generations of families celebrated milestones within those very booths. Lily watched, her excitement bubbling like a pot of soup left simmering too long. It was working. They were feeling it. But as voices filled the room, a shadow still lingered. There were murmurs. Some were still not convinced. That was great years ago, but times have changed. One voice piped in, still weaving the idea of transformation. So many places have updated their menus. Why can't we? Lily felt a twist in her stomach at the words. They were right in a way. The world was changing. But could they really sacrifice history for something new and shiny? She glanced at Grandma, who, with a gentle yet intense gaze, seemed to read her thoughts. Change can be good, but it doesn't have to mean forgetting what we truly value, Grandma said, her voice unwavering. She looked the crowd straight in the eyes, challenge overshadowing her tenderness. We can adapt without losing what makes us who we are. Let us create a menu that honors our past while adding a sprinkle of newness. We can have both. The room buzzed with chatter as hope began to intertwine with the air so thick with memories. Little by little, a renewed spirit began to emerge. Ideas blossomed like spring flowers breaking through winter frost. Lily felt a grin spread across her face as she listened to friends and neighbors suggest pies with innovative fillings and vegan options that might attract a younger crowd, all while staying true to the heart of what Grandma had created. As excitement filled the diner, Lily couldn't help but think of all the hard work ahead and the challenges they would face in bringing this vision to life. Her heart was pounding now, but this time it was filled with empowerment and unity. They were ready to take on the challenge together. Just as the crowd erupted into a new level energy discussing their plans, Lily noticed a figure in the back of the diner, one she hadn't expected to see. A man stood there, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Behind him, the door creaked open. Could it be? Lily strained to get a better look. Was that her grandfather, long gone but never forgotten, arriving at the moment his family needed him most? With her heart racing at the unexpected sight, questions swirled through her mind. What would he say? Would he support their endeavor? Would this be the sign they needed to save their legacy? This transformative moment left Lily holding her breath again, waiting to see if change would truly come full circle. Lily's heart pounded in her chest as she stood frozen at the sight of her grandfather. She had heard stories of him, a man who had dedicated his life to this diner, pouring love and sweat into its very foundations. "Grandpa Joe," she whispered, unsure if the shock was coloring her vision or if he was, indeed, real. She had never seen him in person, just photographs that hung on the diner's walls, faded and yellowing. With each heartbeat, the diner's chatter quieted. Grandma Margaret turned, as if sensing a shift in the air. Lily's hand squeezed her grandmother's, a silent plea for strength. Would he want to be part of this transformation? What if he didn't agree? But deep down, a flicker of hope ignited. Joe. Grandma's voice choked out the name, filled with years of emotion and memories. She stepped toward him, her footsteps slow, tentative, every movement heavy with a mixture of love and uncertainty. The room watched intently, the atmosphere pregnant with possibility. "I never thought I'd see you again," she said, her voice wavering but warm, a smile breaking through hidden fears. The old man's face softened, as if a well of memories rushed forward, making him look both younger and older all at once. "I heard voices that I couldn't ignore, Maggie," he replied, his voice gravelly yet melodious, like the sound of a bell chiming in the distance. "The spirit here, it's as strong as it ever was." Lily felt a grounding calm wash over her, a connection threading through generations. She could sense the weight of the diner's legacy resting heavily on their shoulders. "I wish I could have been here for all of it," he continued slowly, his gaze drifting over the familiar faces. "You've held it together with love and strength." But he paused, a glimmer of concern glazing his eyes. "I need to know, are you both ready for what lies ahead?" "What do you mean?" Lily asked, feeling the intensity of the moment. The room had fallen so silent she could hear the soft ticking of the old clock on the wall. Each second seemed infinite. "There will be trials," he warned, his brows knitting together. "Some will stand firm, wanting to keep things as they are. Changes those will stir the pot, rattle the foundations of what you both hold dear. Are you prepared to fight for it?" Lily glanced at Grandma, whose eyes shimmered with resilience. "Our family has always been fighters, Joe." "We're ready," she replied firmly, her voice strengthening. "This diner, it needs to evolve but honor our past. That's what we're working toward." Grandpa Joe nodded, his steely determination matching hers. "Change can be daunting. But if your love for each other and this diner stays at the core, you'll find your way." Just then, an unexpected clattering echoed in the diner. An empty pitcher, lost in a misplaced grasp, toppled to the floor. Laughter bubbled up unexpectedly, lighting up the heavy atmosphere. Someone called out, "This place needs to breathe. Let us make it sing again." Lily felt warmth flood through her. With laughter as their backdrop and the weight of history surrounding them, they started sharing ideas once more. They were willing to adapt. They could infuse their menu with new life while holding tight to family recipes. As the vibrant conversations ignited once again, Lily watched her grandfather fall deep into loving exchanges with those he hadn't seen in ages, friends, neighbors, and patrons who were now part of this revival. Yet, even amidst this bubbling energy, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something else was brewing beneath the surface. What truly lay ahead? Would they all stand united when push came to shove? Just then, as spirited discussions continued, the bell above the door jingled, announcing another arrival. All heads turned, but it wasn't just an ordinary guest. A woman stood there, dark hair tousled from the wind, a look of determination in her eyes. Who was she, and what role would she play in this evolving story? The room held its breath, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. The woman stepped inside, her presence like a gentle gust of wind stirring the atmosphere. Lily took a moment to wonder who she was. She didn't recognize her, but there was something familiar about the way she stood, how she surveyed the diner, with a mix of awe and determination. "Excuse me," the woman said, her voice clear as a bell, cutting through the chatter. "Is this the Joe's diner I've heard so much about?" Lily's heart skipped. She leaned closer to her grandmother, who was still grasping Grandpa Joe's arm. Grandma nodded, a warm smile blossoming on her face. "Yes, dear. Welcome. Good to see the legacy is still alive," the woman replied, a spark in her eye. "I'm Alana. I grew up in this town. Your diner made every Sunday special for me. I had to come see it again." Just as Alana began to step forward, her eyes locked onto Grandpa Joe. Laughter erupted around the room, breaking the tension that had settled like fog. Folks greeted Alana with open arms, drawn by nostalgia and connection. The chatter picked up again, curious murmurs swirling like music in the air. They welcomed her, Lily observed Alana's gaze. It was filled with a sense of longing, as if she were searching for something that had been lost. With Alana's entrance, the energy in the diner felt electric. People leaned in closer, eager to hear her stories about the past. "I remember the pie on the windowsill," Alana said, smiling, "and food tastes sweeter when it's shared. I wonder if it still has the same magic." "Pie!" someone cried. "You've got to try Grandma Margaret's recipe." Lily watched as Grandma's cheeks flushed with pride. "It's in my heart and made with love." "Always has been," she beamed, but uncertainty flickered behind her eyes. Would it be enough for a new generation? Alana turned to Lily, her expression thoughtful. "What are your dreams for this place, kiddo?" Lily hesitated, feeling small under the weight of so many eyes. We want to blend the old and the new. We want to keep the memories alive, but still welcome fresh ideas." Alana nodded, seeming pleased. "That is important. This diner is a beacon, a place for connection. But what if you went even further?" An intrigued buzz rippled through the crowd. Questions and ideas flowed, each person eager to contribute their vision. Lily felt a warmth radiate from her grandfather and grandmother, their spirits lifting as they shared memories and hopes. Then, Alana leaned in closer. "What if we did a community cook-off? To bring everyone together, to celebrate the diner's future? I have some recipes, and friends who would love to join." "Cook-off!" someone chimed from the back. Excitement rippled through. The energy in the diner surged to a new height. Yet, Lily's heart raced for a different reason. It was a fantastic idea, but could such an event truly bring the community together? With cross-generational differences, could they work past old wounds to embrace change? Just then, Grandpa Joe raised a hand for silence, his commanding presence pulling everyone's attention back. "This is it. A chance to connect over the food that brought us together. But we must remember, it's not just about the food. It's about the family, the values, and love that started all of this." Lily watched him, feeling the powerful legacy resting on their shoulders. A sense of warmth enveloped her as she embraced the possibilities they could create together. But as the discussion spiraled with hope and excitement, a flicker of unease danced in the back of Lily's mind. What if not everyone in their community felt the same way? Would they really stand united when faced with resistance? Just then, the door swung open again. A strong gust sent a chill through the diner, followed by another unexpected guest. Who could this be now? Lily's heart pounded what new drama awaited them next. The bell above the door jingled, and in strode a tall figure, radiating an air of confidence. A man in his 30s, dressed in a dark leather jacket and faded jeans, his hair tousled yet stylish. He scanned the room until his gaze landed on Alana, and a look of recognition crossed his face. "Alana!" he exclaimed, breaking into a grin. "I can't believe it's you." The diner fell momentarily silent, eyes darting between the newcomer and Alana. She seemed equally surprised, but her smile broadened as she stepped forward. "Mark! It's been ages." The tension in the room dissipated. Grandma Margaret stood frozen, wiping her hands on her apron, as if unsure whether to approach or simply watch the reunion unfold. Yet, something about Mark made her uneasy. Lily felt a wave of confusion combat the warmth that had enveloped the diner moments ago. She hadn't seen this man before, yet his presence stirred something deep within her. There was an undeniable connection between him and Alana, as if they were two pieces of a puzzle somehow reassembled. "Remember the summers at my grandmother's place?" Mark said, laughter bubbling in his voice. "You'd always win the pie-eating contest. How did I let you do that?" "I had my secrets," Alana laughed, her eyes sparkling. "I always came prepared." The exchange lit something in the hearts of the diners. Stories began to spill forth, memories flooding back like a rustic farmhouse full of old treasures. Only now, they had a fresh layer of excitement. But Lily sensed an underlying current, something unspoken lingered beneath the surface, like a shadow hiding in broad daylight. You know, with the cook-off coming, Mark started. Yes, Alana interjected, her excitement palpable. We should all collaborate. Bring in everyone's best dishes. Let us make this a gathering to remember. Lily felt a tightening in her stomach. What if this was a good idea? What if it wasn't tea? She had dreamed of revamping the diner, but there was something about this moment that felt overwhelmingly chaotic. Would everyone truly embrace this change? Maybe we can amend some recipes? Mark suggested, eyes twinkling. Throw for a round of modern twists. Grandma Margaret's expression shifted, a flicker of her protective instinct surfacing. Our recipes, there's history in there. It could be a bridge. A way to remember while moving forward, Alana urged, her passion wrapping around them like a warm blanket. Lily's heart sank. Yes, those recipes were treasures, each baked item stitched together by her family's love over generations. The thought of changing them felt sacrilegious, yet Mark and Alana's enthusiasm echoed around her, filling the room with energy. A floorboard creaked as Lily shifted, her breath hitching. What if some people don't want to blend? She whispered, her heart pounding. Mark paused, his smile fading slightly. Change is tough, but maybe it's necessary. We can't stay stagnant just because it's easier. The murmurs of the crowd settled again, each person caught in the tug-of-war between hope and apprehension. Perhaps we can get everyone's thoughts on it, at least, Alana suggested softly, glancing at the diners. Let us show them what it means to come together, no matter how fractured we may feel. For a brief moment, the diner was cloaked in silence again. Everyone was contemplating her words, considering the concept of unity amidst uncertainty. As the seconds stretched, something shifted within Lily. Perhaps change could be the key to reviving their family legacy. Whatever form it might take, it could still honor where they came from. But just as confidence began to take root, the diner door swung open again. A figure stepped inside, their silhouette obscured by the bright daylight behind them. Lily's heart raced this time. Could it be another challenge for the fragile hope they were building? Their past was looming, the engagement and excitement swirling, but so were the shadows of uncertainty. Who was this new arrival, and what could they bring to the table? The newcomer stepped fully into the diner, the sunlight casting an ethereal glow around them. As they moved forward, the features became clearer. It was a girl, no older than 8, with big, curious eyes and curly hair framing her small face. Her faded denim jacket hung loosely on her tiny frame, making her look even more like a lost sheep in the bustling diner. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice soft but steady, drawing everyone's attention. The conversations dwindled, and all eyes shifted to her. "Are you looking for someone?" Alana asked gently, kneeling down to the girl's level, her warmth inviting. "I'm looking for Grandma," the girl replied, pointing toward a booth in the corner. "She told me to find her here." A murmur of surprise rustled through the crowd. Grandma Margaret's hands went still, a mixture of shock and confusion washing over her features. "Who is your grandma, sweetie?" she managed to ask. The girl took a step closer, scanning the diner until her gaze settled on Margaret's face. "My name is Emma. You're my grandma." She pronounced it with the assertion of a proud secret keeper. Gasps echoed around the room, and for a moment, time hung suspended. Grandma Margaret's eyes widened, a combination of disbelief and awe flashing across her face. "Emma? But how?" "Mom said you might forget me," Emma continued, her eyes shining with sincerity. "I wanted to remind you, and to taste your famous pie. It sounds so yummy." Lily's heart sank at the unexpected twist. The gathering they were discussing was shifting in its very essence. Was this a moment of unity, or a rift waiting to be unearthed? Grandma Margaret stepped forward, wiping her hands on her apron again, but this time, it was not with hesitation. Her voice trembled as she spoke. I've missed you, little one." I didn't even know her words trailed off, choked by a rush of emotion. Mark and Alana gasped in tandem, absorbing the gravity of the situation. Lily felt an ache in her chest. The full weight of Emma's revelation settled over the diner, like a heavy blanket. This unexpected connection illustrated a history woven tight with love, but burdened with loss. "Can we bake together?" Emma's excitement brought a breath of fresh air, her small frame brimming with enthusiasm. "Yes." "Oh yes, of course," Margaret exclaimed, her face softening. "But we need to share and respect our recipes, baby. That's how we keep our family together. Like how the cook-off can bring us all together." Alana chimed in, a fresh light igniting in her eyes. Lily stepped back, wrestling with a swell of emotions. Emma's innocent joy resonated like a gentle lullaby. It was a stark contrast to her doubts, whispering of possibility. Maybe this little girl was exactly what they needed, a reminder of family's heart and the bonds that could withstand change. The cacophony of the diner transformed as diners began talking again, this time with hopeful energy. They tossed around ideas of new recipes blended with old ones, mixed with laughter, while Emma clambered onto a stool to tell stories of her mother's baking adventures. Grandma Margaret joined in, her laughter laced with tears of joy. Yet, a part of Lily still felt a flicker of uncertainty. While hope grew like fresh sprouts in spring, the looming question remained: could they truly blend the past with the present without losing themselves in the process? Before she had time to contemplate further, the bell over the door chimed again. Another figure stepped in, tall and shadowy, the light dimming in their presence. Was this another unexpected twist, or something darker altogether? The figure in the doorway took a moment to adjust, their tall silhouette casting an almost ominous shadow across the cafe floor. As they moved forward into the light, the diner went quiet once more, the anticipation thick in the air. The newcomer wore a well-worn leather jacket that flared slightly as they stepped deeper into the diner. "Jacob?" Alana whispered, glancing to Lily, who felt a mix of anxiety and curiosity bubble in her chest. The name sent ripples through the gathered crowd. Everyone recognized him, the estranged son of Margaret, the one who had left after the family dispute. "Mom?" Jacob's voice was soft, yet the strength behind it shook the room again. He stood there, unsure, his eyes darting around, scanning faces as if hoping for acceptance. Emma jumped off her stool, her small feet skipping forward. "Daddy!" she shouted, a gleeful sparkle lighting up her eyes. Margaret's expression morphed from surprise to something deeper, a blend of shock, heartbreak, and muted joy. "Jacob," the one word seemed to hang between them like an unspoken apology. "I came as soon as I heard," he trailed off, stepping forward tentatively. There was cautious hope in his demeanor, but also an undercurrent of pain. He swallowed hard, looking back to Emma. "I just wanted to see you." The chatter in the diner faded into slow whispers of disbelief and shock. The temperature in the room changed, feelings of joy twisting into something complicated, a familial tension blending with the sweetness of reunion. It's been so long," Margaret finally managed to say, a single tear slipping down her cheek. "Why now?" "I didn't know I had a daughter, Mom," Jacob replied, his voice breaking slightly. I thought I lost that chance." Emma, caught between the two, looked from her father to her grandmother, uncertainty clouding her innocent excitement. "Can we all bake together?" she asked, her childish plea hanging in the air as if it could bridge all the gaps. Margaret leaned down to her granddaughter, a knee-jerk grin pulling at her lips. "Sweetheart, we definitely can. Besides, once you taste my pie, you'll never forget it." That warmth didn't reach all corners of the diner as Jacob stood still, watching the exchange with eyes reflecting both hope and regret. Maybe I can help? He offered, voice barely above a whisper. Lily watched the moment unravel and felt her heart twist. She had seen a child burst into their lives and bring light, but now the shadows in Jacob's presence cast doubt on the fragile happiness they were trying to build. Can this really work? She thought, fear inching its way into her mind, a question echoing silently with every heartbeat. Suddenly, the bell chimed again, breaking the tension momentarily. A new figure rushed in, holding a basket. It was Ruth, another longtime diner regular with a knack for baking spiced muffins. She glanced around and gasped, her eyes widening as she took in the scene. What did I miss? The colorful flood of emotions, the excitement of Emma, and the stark reality of Jacob left everyone breathless. As they all turned to greet Ruth, Lily couldn't shake off the weight of the moment. Would the mingling of these three generations move them together toward healing? Or would they crash and splinter again under the pressure of their shared past? Her heart raced, uncertain of what was about to unravel. With laughter and tension swirling intertwined, it felt like the air was ripe for something monumental, but what would that be? The answer lingered just out of reach, waiting for the right moment to break free. Ruth placed her basket of muffins on the counter, her sharp eyes taking in the scene. The air thickened with anticipation as she stepped forward, still holding on to her familiar smile, even as confusion lined her features. What is going on? The silence was loud. No one seemed ready to speak, caught in an emotional tangle. Emma, ever the ray of light, bounced on her toes. Daddy's here, Ruth. We're going to bake. Ruth's expression softened as she looked at the young girl, the innocence of Emma's excitement cutting through the tension. Yet, her gaze flickered back to Jacob, uncertainty replacing warmth. She had seen family rifts before, watched love get tangled in anger and regret. That's great, sweetheart, she said, her voice steady but cautious. But Jacob, it's been a long time. Are you ready for this? Jacob shifted uncomfortably, his hands balling into fists by his sides. I didn't know what I was walking into. I just wanted to see her. It's not that simple, Margaret interjected, her voice strained but earnest. This isn't just about you showing up, Jacob. There's a lot to unpack. Lily felt a swell of emotions crescendo in the room. Margaret looked torn, eyes darting between her son and her granddaughter. It was a fierce blend of wanting to welcome him yet fearing the upheaval his presence might cause. Emma chimed in again, her childish optimism undeterred. We can make cupcakes with sprinkles. And blueberry muffins. That seemed to break the icy gaze of the adults, eliciting a small chuckle from Ruth. Blueberry muffins, huh? I can teach you a recipe that's better than anything from the store. A ghost of a smile flickered across Jacob's face as he watched Emma. I'd like that, he replied, the words coming slowly, as if his heart was learning to let go of its burden, bit by bit. But still, shadows lingered, dark and unresolved. The chatter resumed slowly, more people exchanging glances, whispers of judgment and curiosity floating amongst the diner's regulars. It was a community brought together, yet undeniably divided, learning to navigate the complexity of past choices. Alana shifted on her stool, her mind racing. She'd seen fractured families mend, and she had seen them tear apart. The juxtaposition of hope and fear played out in her chest, squeezing tighter. What if this doesn't end well? She wondered silently, struggling to maintain her own composure. Okay, everyone. Ruth called out, pulling at the heartstrings with her energy. Why don't we all help? Baking is best when we're together, right? Jacob, you can show us your skills. As they moved towards the kitchen, Lily felt a tightness in her throat. She wanted to believe in this budding family tie, to trust that they could heal from the past. But her instincts whispered otherwise, the worry of how fragile everything was hanging in the air. Emma's giggle pierced through her thoughts, drawing her attention. She had wrapped her arms around Jacob, pulling him down to her level. "You can be my helper, Daddy." Jacob knelt, a smile breaking through the tension that had gripped him since he walked in. "Okay, kiddo. What do we do first?" Lily watched, heart racing with a mix of optimism and fear. This was the moment where everything could change, but would it? As flour filled the air and laughter began to bubble over, a cold shiver ran down her spine, a sudden realization. What happens when the baking ends? What future does Jacob envision? She could see the spark of hope in Emma's eyes, yet so much was at stake. And then, in the periphery of the gathering, she noticed someone slip into the diner, a somber figure hanging back in the shadows. Who were they, and how did they connect to the heart of the story unfolding? All of a sudden, the scene, one of sweetness and home, felt dangerously intertwined with a past that refused to fade away. Deep down, Lily knew something was coming. Would it shatter their moment or somehow lead to healing? The unease settled over her once again, heavy and palpable. The kitchen was a whirlwind. Flour floated in the air as Emma squealed with delight, her small hands covered in the soft white powder. Ruth moved gracefully between the countertops, mixing ingredients with the confidence of many years spent baking. Jacob stood nearby, a little out of place, but determined to find his rhythm, drawn in by Emma's infectious laughter. "First, we need to measure the flour," Emma declared, holding up the cup as if it was a trophy, her excitement radiating. Jacob smiled, appreciating how easily she could weave joy into the chaos. "All right, tell me what to do," he said, kneeling beside her. The moment felt fragile, as if he were unearthing a treasure, but unsure of its value. As they filled the mixing bowl, Margaret watched, her heart a tangle of desires. She wanted Emma to experience the bond of having her father close, but feared the cracks in their family were too deep. The sound of the mixer drowned out her thoughts, leaving her with nothing but the high-pitched giggles of her daughter and granddaughter. They were a picture of togetherness, while she felt heavier with every turn of the whisk. "Can I add the sprinkles, Daddy?" Emma asked, her eyes wide with hope. Jacob hesitated for a moment, the weight of the past pressing against him. "Of course, kiddo," he said finally, feeling a bit more relaxed as their shared laughter filled the kitchen. He wanted to embrace this little person who longed for his attention and affection. But just as Emma dove into the sprinkles, a shadow loomed at the door, a reminder that not every space could hold only light. Lily's heart sank as she recognized the figure. It was Sarah. The tension was palpable, thickening the air as her presence echoed with memories tied to old wounds. "Give me a moment," Lily whispered to Margaret, her voice barely audible as she stepped away from the laughter behind her. She felt drawn to Sarah, who had been one of Jacob's allies in those darker days. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her concern edging her voice. "I came to see how he was doing," Sarah replied, the weight of her words settling heavily between them. "But this isn't what I expected." "Neither did he," Lily murmured, glancing back toward the lively kitchen. "Do you think it's too late for him? For all of them?" Sarah's eyes clouded, a mixture of remorse and uncertainty flickering beneath the surface. "I wish I knew. Things got messy, Lily. You have no idea how messy." Lily took a step back, her heart aching for the little girl slicing through the tension with her joy. "But should we let that mess define them? Emma deserves to know her father. She is so innocent in this." As Sarah's gaze softened, she began to weigh the pros and cons. Ruth called everyone back into the kitchen, urging them to finish the muffins. Jacob, moving with Emma and Ruth as a team, seemed to grow lighter, his past pressures momentarily forgotten. But in the recesses of the diner, uncertainty lingered, with the smell of baking muffins, and the unease of what lay ahead settled against their joy. Suddenly Jacob turned around, noticing the two women in quiet conversation. A flash of guilt crossed his face, followed by determination. He needed to articulate everything brewing within him, to clear the air once and for all. For Emma, Lily could sense a shift. Jacob's brow furrowed, as if he'd made a decision, and she could feel her heart racing at the possibilities. What would he reveal? Was this a turning point or a point of no return? As he shifted on his feet, preparing to speak, the silence in the room weighted down with expectations. Would this be the moment they had been waiting for, or a step backward into darkness? With every eye fixed on him, Jacob opened his mouth. But would the words bring healing or further divide them? Jacob's voice broke the thick air, steady despite the swirling emotions. "I've been away too long," he began, looking directly at Emma, who stood by his side with wide, trusting eyes. "I can't explain it all, but I left because I thought it was what was best for everyone, even for you, Emma." He took a breath, his chest heaving under the weight of years of regret. "I thought that moving away would protect you from all the confusion and pain. But I see now that I was wrong. Being away only made everything worse. It was never about you. It was about my fears." As he spoke, Margaret's expression transformed from trepidation to a growing understanding. "Jacob, you were trying to protect your heart," she said softly, her voice a mixture of compassion and sorrow. "But love doesn't work that way. We need each other more than ever." The small kitchen around them buzzed quietly with anticipation, listening intently as the threads of their lives began weaving back together. Emma's excitement bubbled over, her small hands reaching for her father. "Daddy, I love you, and I want to bake too." With that, the room seemed to sigh a collective breath of relief. Jacob's cheeks flushed as he knelt beside Emma, taking her tiny hands in his. "I love you too, Em. And I promise I'm here to stay, to learn, to help this family grow stronger together," he vowed, his voice thick with emotion, every word binding the fractures of their past. As flower dust danced in the sunlight piercing through the diner's windows, Lily felt her heart swell. Something beautiful was unfolding. This was a real chance to move forward, to blend past with present, to bake new stories into the very heart of their diner. In that moment, Margaret wrapped her arms around both of them. "Forgiveness is like baking, sometimes it takes the right mix to rise," she whispered, her eyes shimmering with tears. Laughter filled the diner once more as Emma giggled and jumped into the flowery embrace. Suddenly, the bell jingled loudly again, jolting the joyous moment into a flurry of surprise. The door swung open, and in walked a familiar face, Mr. Thompson, their longtime neighbor and fond patron, clutching a bright blue box. "I brought something to spice things up." The energy in the room exploded as the diners crowded around. Mr. Thompson began revealing boxes of ingredients, a local farmer's array of fresh vegetables and herbs. "I figured with the cook-off coming, we might need some extra flair." Cheers erupted, and plans for the event took on a life of their own, as chatter over new recipes sparked enthusiasm. Optimism blossomed. Ideas spun together like a whirlwind of creativity. Lily smiled, feeling the heartbeat of their diner surge with purpose. It was clear that their home-cooked comfort would evolve, embracing freshness without abandoning the essence of love baked into every cherished recipe. "Let us create something unforgettable," Alana shouted, her eyes sparkling, livening the room with infectious energy. As conversations escalated and laughter rang out, Lily felt layers of anxiety peel away. They were standing at the edge of transformation. The diner would not just survive. It would thrive, because they had harnessed the strength of their connections, old and new, flawed but beautiful. But as the excitement reached new heights, a familiar face entered the door again, casting a long shadow across their moment of joy. Sarah stepped forward. Her eyes held a tumult of emotions as she spoke. "I'm sorry, but I need you all to hear me. There's more to this story, more that's been hidden away." The room fell silent once again. This could change everything. Would their shared hopes spiral down into new chaos, or could it be the key to healing deeper wounds in their family tapestry? Mom, they need to know what really happened. The truth can't be hidden anymore, Jacob said slowly, his brow furrowing as he turned toward his mother, who stood rooted in shock. Lily felt her heart clench again. Whatever this was, it had the power to either shatter what they'd built or fortify it. As eyes darted from Jacob to Sarah, anticipation hung in the air, a breathless moment wavering between turmoil and triumph. Would they brace for impact? Would they stand as a family, united in love despite past betrayals? The diner, their home, pulsed with anticipation, caught in the threshold of a new beginning, willing to embrace every part of their chaotic, beautiful journey together. And just like that, the heart of the diner beat louder, filled with the hopes, dreams, and stories waiting to unfold. As the whispers of uncertainty faded, Lily realized that this was not just about the food anymore. It was about belonging. It was about family. And it was about time they all came home. Now it was time to rise together. To everyone watching, if you felt this story resonate, you need to subscribe right now to catch the next exclusive stories. Hit that like button. It makes a huge difference, and I urge you share your reactions and feelings in the comments. This is the moment to show your support and help spread the message of love and family. Don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation.